Sorry, I had to do my phone. I had to delete some stuff, even though my parents made sure that I had a lot of memory and a lot of internet on this phone. Probably because then all of a sudden it didn't work, but then right after we get it working, then all of a sudden Betsy starts freaking out again. So I don't know why these girls are ruining my life. But jealousy and greed are the two worst diseases, right, Ralph? Um, okay, so when I was in the courtroom in Lincoln with my attorney Randy Day, that wasn't even supposed to be my attorney. Jeff Silverstein had appointed me two really good attorneys to contact. But then they find out that didn't even legally lose my children ever. But they contacted back, and this is my problem with Jeff right now, is that I really needed to meet with you and John Havlin. Because I'm pretty sure that those attorneys actually helped somebody else because I didn't know that the whole building at Wabanaki could hear every phone call. And that was the only phone number that I had for them to return the phone call to. Then they told me at Wabanaki that I was not to talk to my mother because she was a big meth dealer. Like, because of the ice on her phone on my phone for in case of emergency to contact my mother. Um, yeah. And then my phone said, they pinged my phone, they changed it. Um, she did like Google Assistant, like where she could sync everything. I didn't want people to sync to my phone. That's half the problem is people tethering and syncing and then trying to investigate people's phone numbers when it's not even them or people are sending messages via the computer messages, like Gboard keyboard shit. And now people are doing it with their brain fucking chip for brain interface. Like, I'm not crazy. This is real, you guys. This is fucking really happening. Um, anyway, and then it said that was on my Ritalin text alerts from Walgreens. Now, um, the Wabanaki case management, like Elizabeth Hardison is not a mental health professional. I never went there for that. I have been to Wellsprings. I went to Addiction Resource Center and I had been put in Acadia 3 times. I don't understand why these people want me to go into a sleep study to get my children back. And that they keep saying that I need to be on my sister's medication and other people's medications, which are SSRIs and dopamines, which are actually on my allergies list, meaning they're intentionally trying to make me take something and override it to give me my allergies yet again. Because my medications are methylphenidate and lorazepam. Okay, so then one of the Betsies that isn't in the picture, on another day, she looked at my drug screen thing and she goes, oh my God, it says CPS. Then I went, my car shut off. But a different day, the judge asked Randy Day to ask me when Wayne walked in with a whole box full of paperwork. They said that they were getting all my mental health records. Well, you can't do that at Acadia because since I was 16 or 17 years old, they swapped the records, like the recording or whatever. And then there's actually some girl in that hospital that kept thinking she was me and pretending to be me for this long. Um, because they tried to put me on a whole bunch of what was yeah, like uh I can't think of lithium and shit. Like, and then they said, oh my God, Stevie, that wasn't even yours. You have severe ADHD. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, because they recorded it and then they would bring them upstairs to talk to a doctor. So that was another reason why I was not to go back to Acadia because of that psychotic girl that keeps thinking that she's me now. And that was actually since I was 16 or 17 years old and I'm 31. Um, Now they let everybody out of the state hospitals, the mental hospitals, the jails, like last summer and spring up in Maine. They had nowhere to go. And you guys are wondering why the crime rate's up. Um, okay, so then the judge asked Randy to ask me, how old is your father? Why? Was he a foster child? Yes. When was he born? 51. So have you ever heard of the Child Indian Welfare Act? And I said, why are you asking me this? He said, well, the judge wants to know. Well, then the judge went in and they tried to ask me how many witnesses I want. Randy said, oh, maybe one or two. I said, no, I want character witnesses. I go, there's no reason for you to take my children. And I want every single one of my aunts and uncles in this fucking courtroom. I want every single worker or police officer in that discovery to be here because that is my goddamn right as an American citizen for a trial about my children. Now, when I said that, the judge freaked the fuck out. Like, right out of the courtroom again. And then they did it again in Dover in January. Now, I was told along my way that my father, my aunts and uncles were not legally taken either. Um, they were illegally taken and put into foster homes. Um, and my grandmother didn't do anything wrong, and there was no reason for her to not have her children. And I believe that's exactly why they asked me that and why they're doing this to me. And the thing that hurts is that my aunts and uncles that were foster children aren't understanding that I needed one of them with me this whole time at these court dates because this is wrong. This is wrong. They knew exactly who my grandmother was, and they did it to me and my children. And that's the only explanation, besides the trafficking ring threat.